Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Proverbs 3:5. Sometimes life changes so suddenly that nothing makes sense anymore. One moment everything feels normal, and the next moment you feel emotionally lost. You try to stay strong. You continue waking up every morning. You continue working. You continue smiling around people. But deep inside, you are overwhelmed. Sometimes life becomes heavy without warning. Unexpected problems arrive. Disappointments happen. People change. Relationships fail. Financial pressure increases. Plans collapse. And suddenly you find yourself asking questions you never thought you would ask. God, why is this happening? Why do I feel this way? Why does everything feel so confusing? Some seasons in life are difficult because they do not come with clear answers. You pray, but things still feel uncertain. You try to stay hopeful, but emotionally you feel tired. And sometimes the hardest part is pretending to be okay, while silently struggling inside. There are people carrying silent pain every single day. People trying to survive emotionally, while nobody notices their internal battles. People who feel mentally exhausted but still continue showing up for everyone else. Sometimes emotional pain is invisible. You may look calm on the outside while fighting anxiety, overthinking, sadness, or emotional burnout inside your mind. And because you continue functioning, people assume you are okay. But God sees the hidden battles. He sees the tears nobody else sees. He sees the stress you carry quietly. He sees the nights you struggle to sleep because your mind feels overwhelmed. He sees the emotional exhaustion. He sees the disappointment. And even when life feels confusing, God is still present. One of the most difficult things about painful seasons is that they often make us feel lost. You begin questioning your future, questioning your purpose, questioning your direction, questioning yourself. Sometimes life becomes so overwhelming that even simple things feel difficult. You feel tired mentally, emotionally drained, spiritually exhausted, and maybe lately you have been asking yourself, how much longer can I continue like this? But Proverbs 3:5-6 reminds us of something important. It says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding." That means there will be moments in life when we do not fully understand what God is doing. Moments where the road ahead feels unclear. Moments where life feels painful and confusing. But faith is not always about understanding everything immediately. Sometimes faith means trusting God while still hurting. Trusting God while still confused. Trusting God while still waiting. And that is not easy. Especially when your heart feels tired. Especially when you prayed for things that never happened. Especially when you expected life to look different by now. Sometimes we secretly believe that if God loves us, life should always make sense. But even strong believers go through difficult seasons. Even faithful people experience emotional pain. Even good people become exhausted. The Bible is filled with people who went through seasons of confusion. People who felt afraid. People who cried. People who questioned life. People who waited for God during painful seasons. And yet, God never abandoned them. Sometimes God works quietly. Not every blessing arrives immediately. Not every answer comes quickly. Not every painful season ends overnight. But silence does not mean absence. Delay does not mean denial. And confusion does not mean God has forgotten you. Sometimes the season that feels like destruction is actually preparation. Sometimes the season that feels painful is slowly building strength inside you. And sometimes the season that makes no sense today will make sense later. Right now you may feel emotionally exhausted. Maybe you are carrying responsibilities alone. Maybe you are trying to stay strong for your children, your family, your work, or the people around you. Maybe you are silently struggling with stress, burnout, depression, disappointment, or fear about the future. And maybe nobody truly understands how heavy life has felt lately. But please hear this clearly. You are not alone. God still sees you. Even in confusion, even in exhaustion, even in emotional pain. God still cares about your life. Sometimes healing begins when we stop trying to control everything. When we stop demanding immediate answers. When we stop pretending we are okay all the time. And instead, we simply breathe, pray, rest, and trust God one day at a time. You do not need to have your entire future figured out today. You do not need to solve every problem tonight. You do not need to carry the entire world on your shoulders. Sometimes survival itself is an achievement. Sometimes getting through the day is already strength. And if life has felt heavy lately, be gentle with yourself. Rest when needed. Pray honestly. Cry if you need to. Speak to someone you trust. And remember that healing is a process. The difficult season you are facing now will not last forever. One day you may look back and realize that God carried you through moments you thought would destroy you. One day the confusion may become part of your testimony. One day the pain may become part of your healing story. So do not lose hope. Even if life feels uncertain right now. Even if your heart feels tired. Even if nothing makes sense at the moment. Keep trusting God. Keep breathing. Keep going. And keep rising.